Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anthony Linetti Show right here on YouTube. Let me make sure that my audio is good to go. We should be good. I think, yeah, we're on the air. We're definitely on the airways here. We got excellent speed right now. I appreciate anyone who is checking this out right now live, as it's the first time I've been live since December, I believe. The last time I was live on this channel was in December of 2023 for, I believe it was a SmackDown review. I completely forget. But before we get into any news, rumors, any of that good stuff, I figured today this is basically the first episode of the Scoop Slam podcast. And I figured gonna kind of tell you guys what to expect of it, what's kind of gonna be going down with channel stuff, with content, and what's gonna be going down with this podcast. So starting off, let's talk about the name change and everything that's happened with this channel. As you can see, before, if you were a viewer before, if you watched a lot of my live stuff from 2023, we did a lot of SmackDown reviews. There's a ton of SmackDown reviews I did with a lot of people: Josh Bailey, Tantalizing Tony, Anthony Blackwell, all those guys. And those were a lot of fun. There was a lot of good times that happened with it, and I'm really appreciative of all those fun memories that I have with those guys. But at the end of the day, it kind of happens sometimes. I think with me, I like to evolve. I like to adapt. I like to change. And at the time, it was the Anthony Graves Pod. That was my whole stick going on YouTube. I decided to change all of it, and it was it was definitely a big change because I don't think a lot of people expected it. Some people even thought my last name was Graves, which I appreciate that, but no, that not definitely not. I'm not Corey Graves' brother, trust me. Um, so that was a very fun time, doing the graveyard shift, doing the Anthony Graves pod stuff. It was great. It was great. It was a good run. But after a while, 2024, I wanted to kind of develop into doing new things, into doing fun things that, not to say the show wasn't fun, but just being different to me is, trying to create something new, kind of creating something from scratch. I mean, it's the same channel, obviously, but I wanted to make something a little bit different. So I went into doing some interview content, and I got to shout out my guy, Marshall. I don't know if he gets enough airplay, but if you follow my Instagram, you probably see Nowhere Man. He gets a lot of the same reels, the same content that I do. He shares them on his page, and Marshall has been very instrumental in me really progressing when it comes to content, and he was the one that really hooked up with got me with the Mark Henry interview. And that Mark Henry interview, excuse me, that Mark Henry interview got my confidence back into making content. It really did. And I do have to thank Mark and his team over there for, agreeing to be on and kind of taking trust in me, because at the time I haven't really done or hadn't really done too many interviews up until that point, because I took a break. I have some, great stuff from the past, but again, I wanted to do something new. I wanted to do something different, and that's what ended up happening. And then PJ Black, Justin Gabriel, I got to give another shout out to him. PJ Black came on as well, and it is very hard to schedule interviews. It just is. And those guys, they put the time in to come on, and the reels and everything like that, the interviews themselves, just thought were really great. So I got to shout them out because they really um, uh, put confidence back into just making content and having fun with it and doing something creative with it. As you can see, I'm not in my room anymore and I'm not in the radio station. This is actually a custom set. So if you see back here, I got the Yeah LA Knight t-shirt. We got CM Punk, we got Latino Heat, Eddie Guerrero, Cody Rhodes, and a bunch of stuff behind me just to kind of create that wrestling feel on the Scoop Slam podcast. And if you've seen some of my other stuff, I've done a lot of short term content, like some 5-minute videos here and there. Those are going to stay the same. I'm going to keep those coming out. And of course, I'm still going to have those shorts coming out. I appreciate anyone that is listening to this live or not live that is from Instagram or TikTok. I am going to find a way to maybe multi stream this show onto TikTok eventually, which I think would be really fun to do. But for the time being, it's all just going to be on YouTube with the Scoop Slam podcast. If you saw my reel from earlier, it'll be uploaded also tonight on the YouTube channel. What we are going to do with this show, number one, is have fun with it. Um, but we're gonna have a revolving door of guests, and those guests don't just include content creators or friends of mine. It will also be professional wrestlers that come on to the show. So we're going to have some former WWE wrestlers, independent talent come on. We are going to talk about wrestling. Instead of calling it wrestling rumors, I think I'm going to call it wrestling speculation. I just like it better. I think it sounds cooler. So wrestling speculation and confirmed wrestling news as well. And do some positive wrestling talk across social media because there's a lot of tribalism across social media. We're going to try to eliminate that with this show. Let me give a quick shout out here to my man Curbs. Curbs has been one of the day ones. I believe Curbs was first on Twitch. I don't know why his comment is getting cut off. See if I can fix that. I guess this is why it's the first episode. But he has been a day one. I believe he was on Twitch actually at first. See if I can fix that. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't mess up our banners later, but we'll figure it out. Big shout out to Curbs though. He's been a day one guy. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna have other guests come on and talk about not just wrestling's news, 2024 stuff, while some retro stuff. We're going to do a little bit of a mix of everything here. And like I said, just have fun and flow with the show. So you're going to see some different people on, and it should be a really fun time. I'm really excited to dive in with this podcast. As far as time goes, you're seeing it right now. We are going to do this live, hopefully every Thursday at 7 p.m. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. And I think I'm going to stick to that. And starting today, I had to make sure it was June 6th. It's crazy. It's already June. June 6th, that we're going to keep doing this every Thursday. And we're going to talk about wrestling news. We're going to have a lot of fun here. So I appreciate you all so much. You already are in here. I think we got 6 or 7 people in here. Whoever is here. I know some people are going to watch post as well. So thank you to anyone that's going to do that as well. As far as, what was I going to say? As far as other things go, with, like I said, the channel, everything's going to stay the same. Another thing, too, is I'm thinking about with certain lives, I might do members only. There's the ability to do member-only streams. So if we do get members, eventually channel members, that's going to be something I want to move into. Super chats are also there. So if you do want to do a super chat, I appreciate that. But if you're just here, vibing with the show, I appreciate that as well. Any support you guys give is greatly appreciated. So with that said, let's talk about pro wrestling in 2024. There has been so much that has happened. I got two timers. What's going on here? That's because of that. Okay. That's weird. But we it's first episode. We got it. Let's fix that. There we go. All right. We should be good now. We should be good. I'll put Curb's comment up. We're good. Okay. All right. Sorry. I'm still working out the kinks a little bit with this show. Pro wrestling in 2024 has been something that I've been very excited about because, I didn't really get to do too many podcasts, like I said, talking about WrestleMania. I got to shout out another guy now I just remembered. Rewind, Recap, Relive. Hopefully I said that in the right order. Jonah. Jonah is also a great guy. We did WrestleMania predictions on this channel that was uploaded. I kind of forget how long ago that was, but Jonah, a great guy. He does a lot of great interview content. Go check him out. I does a lot of stuff with Rene Dupree too, and some other guys. So go check him out. He's got an interview with Mark Henry. We did WrestleMania 40 predictions. I was at WrestleMania 40, and being in that venue, in that stadium for WrestleMania at the Link in Philadelphia, it definitely did feel like a new era in WWE. Now, I don't know what perception you got at home because there's some people that I think kind of like took the new era thing as a joke. But to me, new era in professional wrestling for WWE, it meant a lot. We saw a lot of title changes, a lot of differences in the way WWE would do things, even from just WrestleMania 39. There was so many things that were different. And I'm really appreciative at the fact that WWE have moved in this new era direction because before I think a lot of fans were turned off from the previous creative we saw in WWE. This new era is shining bright and is, kind of moving away from that past direction. Obviously, WWE we're still going to remember, their history. But 2024 professional wrestling, it's been fun so far, and I'm really appreciative that the team there, Triple H, Paul Levesque, being that leader, has taken this new era and really brought something new and intriguing to it, and I'm really thankful for that. We obviously saw the end of the reign of Roman Reigns. That was something we talked about a lot in our old content. Um, you know, Roman was I can't say that we hated Roman because we didn't hate Roman. We love Roman Reigns. The championship run was so long and it was a little grueling at times, but that main event to me delivered on all fronts. Gotta also shout out another OG from my channel, Steven Chambers. What's going on, man? How are you doing? I hope you're doing all right, my man. Thank you also as well, Steven, another great supporter of mine. Really, thanks, Steven, for being a part of the old streams as well. So, um, and Steven and Curbs will attest to that. We talked a lot about Roman Reigns and his championship run, and a lot of people, thought it was dragging, thought it was carrying on. A lot of us were confused when Cody lost last year. It was a big thing. Cody Rhodes losing at WrestleMania 39. A lot of people thought it was the wrong decision. I was a person that said it too. I was so shocked when Cody did not win, and I was confused by it. And I thought it was a creative mistake. And in different circumstances, it could have been a mistake when you look at some of the programming that WWE did around the time after. But for me, Roman Reigns and the Cody Rhodes storyline, I look at Roman, if you want to compare people from past eras, Roman Reigns he's got that Rock aura. Or, from even just 10, 15 years ago when there was two top guys in WWE in the PG era, Orton and Cena. Roman Reigns is that guy, that top heel, and Cody Rhodes is now aligned as that John Cena, as that Stone Cold. And I consider those guys on that level because if you watched it at home, but if you were in that building for that main event, it was off the charts. It was overbooked, but that's kind of exactly what I wanted. I really wanted, something like that because it carries in to what we love about professional wrestling. We love great matches. We love great moves. We like people that can tell a story. And the key word there to me is story. Story carries so much in the world of professional wrestling. And that to me really stuck out, for this WrestleMania season, but in that main event was just the power of storytelling. Curb said, as a critic and lover of the Bloodline storyline of Roman, I couldn't have been more happy with that ending. Stephen Chambers thinks that Roman is going to return in July for SummerSlam. We will talk about that a little bit, hopefully, on this show, whether he returns or not. I did put out a short about potentially Roman Reigns returning at WrestleMania, and that is also a part of a video that's on the channel. Anyone that's missed that, you can go check that out. What I think they're going to do for The Rock's return in WWE. People are thinking SummerSlam. Some people are thinking WrestleMania 41. We talked about that in that video. No matter where Roman comes back at, I am so thankful because for the longest time he was the big dog, and it didn't work. It just wasn't working. And now Roman Reigns has cemented himself as one of the greatest of all time. Great championship run, and this might be one of the greatest babyface runs coming up because I don't think Dwayne The Rock Johnson is going to be a face when he wrestles Roman Reigns. That crowd has been chanting "We want Roman" for this longest time, and we're gonna get that. I think we are gonna get that babyface Roman Reigns run in WWE. Moving to Cody Rhodes, great moment. What a feel good moment in that ring. A lot of criticism online about his championship run. I can understand, some of it because there's some people that think WWE didn't have a plan for Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania. He faced AJ at Backlash. It wasn't the most intense storyline, and I think people are so used to the bloodline angles and everything to it. But they had a fantastic match. He had a pretty solid match against Logan Paul. I liked his match against Logan, but I did agree with one of the criticisms, and that was that we weren't getting that feel that Cody could be in danger of losing the championship. Obviously, when you got guys like Logan Paul and AJ Styles, they are magnificent performers. But when it came to people being able to defeat Cody Rhodes, they really have to kind of be built up for that because Cody just beat the top guy in WWE, being Roman Reigns, the guy that held that championship for 13 and 16 days, right? 1,316 days, I believe. So, you know, you gotta really build these guys up to really be able to be a threat to Cody. And I think that's what they've done with AJ Styles now. AJ Styles, the whole retirement angle, he pulled a Mark Henry. Um, Great stuff. Really great stuff that they did with that. Looks like the OC, the Good Brothers, the Bullet Club will be back together too, putting AJ with Gals and Anderson again. I really hope that is the case. The question, though, I have in this little ticker when it comes to WWE and AEW speculation is AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes, whether the match will be added to Clash at the Castle, which we'll talk about a little bit later as in the confirmed news stuff about Clash at the Castle, what's going to be on the show already confirmed by WWE themselves. AJ and Cody, I think would be a fine addition to Clash at the Castle. Is it rushing to be added to Clash at the Castle? I don't know. I'm not sure whether or not AJ and Cody should be on Clash at the Castle or not, just because they could build this out to Money in the Bank, but WWE missed an opportunity to have Cody at the last Clash at the Castle because Cody was still hurt with the torn pec. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure what WWE is going to do, but I'm going to assume that Cody and AJ is going to be put for Money in the Bank because they want to build up Money in the Bank still. It's great. Another thing great about WWE, what they're doing is they are making sure that they're building one pay-per-view while also building the next one up. They did that with King of the Ring and a little bit for Crown Jewel, and they're doing that now with Clash at the Castle coming up and then Money in the Bank. We've already have people confirmed that are going to be at Money in the Bank, and we'll talk about that just a little bit. Gianna Graves, in the chat. Gianna, how you doing? So happy to see you live. Happy Thursday, live again. That's right, Gianna, one of my biggest supporters. Love Gianna. Um, it threw me off now. I forgot where it was at. Oh, AJ and Cody. AJ and Cody. Yeah, AJ and Cody. Um, I don't know if it'll be at Clash at the Castle or not, but it would be interesting to see. It's an interesting thing to think about when it comes to that. Other news is Becky Lynch, and this goes still under speculation. Becky Lynch being a free agent as of June 1st. Chad Gable's contract also expiring tomorrow on June 7th, and several other WWE contracts could expire in the following months. That includes Ricochet, Angel Garza, and Natalia. This, of course, is all speculation. There is no fact to this. This is why I'm doing a speculation tab, because I'm not going off of dirt sheets or anything like that. Anything that they publish, I'm putting under speculation unless it is confirmed by a WWE or AEW or a verified source. So the contract situations are very interesting, to say the least. Becky Lynch in AEW, I don't know, guys. I don't know how to feel about that one. I don't know if Becky Lynch would really decide to, leave WWE. I'm not sure why her contract was not renewed. I'm assuming it's something that she requested for. We're not going to know unless she says something publicly. If she does go to AEW, she would have to change her name. She can't be Becky Lynch anymore. So that's something that they have to consider. But at the end of the day, I think Becky Lynch is just taking time off. I think maybe she just wants to be a mother. And I don't really see her, going to AEW. And, she's built such a great career in WWE. I'm not sure, whether or not Becky leaving is the smartest choice. However, Becky Lynch has really done it all in WWE when you think about it. Becky is, I believe she's been a women's tag team champion at least once. She's been world champion 7 times. I mean, Becky Lynch has done a lot in WWE, and I think she has a good place with WWE, and I don't know if she would leave. But again, a lot of people also said that about Edge. A lot of people thought that Edge was going to just stay with WWE or retire, and that did not happen. Edge ended up going to All Elite Wrestling. So Becky Lynch being a free agent, it's interesting. It is interesting to say the least on how that could happen. As far as the other people involved, like Chad Gable. Chad Gable was announced for Clash at the Castle, so they either came to an extension or his contract has already been signed and somebody got this wrong. The other people, like I said, Ricochet, Angel Garza, and Natalia, their contract, I believe that includes Dijak. Their contracts are coming up, I believe, in the following months. I'm not sure if, like I said, Ricochet or Natalia would leave. I know Angel Garza is still with Legado del Fantasma, with Santos Escobar and Humberto Carrillo. So I'm not sure if they would, decide to leave WWE. If there was a name here that I said, it's probably time for them maybe to go to AEW, it'd probably be Ricochet. I don't see Gable leaving. I don't see Gable leaving. Natalia could be a trainer for AEW, but at the end of the day, also the other thing to think about too is AEW isn't the only place you could go, and some people might just decide to maybe retire or take a break. Potentially, what Becky Lynch is doing. I don't know if Natalia goes over to AEW or any of the guys that are mentioned for their contract expiring. Um, but it's interesting to talk about and speculate because, if there was a guy to go to AEW that I think could benefit from it, it might be Ricochet. But, both companies right now, WWE and AEW, are very talent heavy. They're very talent driven. They have a lot of talent. There's a lot of people on these rosters that, they're they have a not a guaranteed spot to be on television. That's the thing, is not everyone can be on, AEW or WWE television. AEW has been criticized before for, having Keith Lee and not doing, the most with him, putting him on television. The same with WWE goes, they've called up so many guys, one of them being Apollo Crews. Last year, they called up Apollo Crews from NXT again, and Crews has done really nothing except do some enhancement matches for other people. He just lost to Andrade on SmackDown, but there really isn't a focus right now on, building him back up or anything. So the rosters, they're stacked and they're pretty full. So I'm not sure, where some of these people go, but if there was a guy that I would say, potentially fits that build to go to AEW, it could very well be Ricochet. So that goes as far as speculation goes. I know today there was some things about Dijak's contract coming up. Not sure, what the deal with Dijak's contract is or anything like that. So that'll be something that we're gonna have to see over time. As far as confirmed things go, we got a somewhat of a set card for Clash of the Castle. Piper Niven versus Bailey for the WWE Women's Championship. We have Chad Gable versus Sami Zayn, which we mentioned earlier in this podcast. That'll be for the Intercontinental Championship. And presumably the main event of the show will be Drew McIntyre making his hometown hero kind of entrance in Scotland against Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. Pretty big matches to be on this show. I think it'll be nice for Piper Niven, and Bailey to go at it for Clash at the Castle. Gable and Sami Zayn will be great. They've been doing a great job building up Otis. The other thing about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest is CM Punk could interfere in that title match. I don't know if WWE would have Drew McIntyre get, robbed of a world championship twice and, like a hometown kind of thing, vibe. It would be really, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but it would be interesting to see whether Punk, interferes in this match in any way or even shows up at this card. Because if Drew McIntyre walks out the world heavyweight champion, that means McIntyre would face Gunther at SummerSlam. There's no Money in the Bank that can be cashed in because there is no current Money in the Bank holder. Damian already cashed in. So you can't really go with that route. I don't know if CM Punk is going to be cleared, whether he's even going to be on the trip, but I'm assuming SummerSlam is going to be Drew McIntyre and CM Punk as long as Punk is cleared. Whether that's for the world title or not, I don't know. But Gunther has a guaranteed title match at SummerSlam. I'm going to say it right now. I think Damian Priest retains. I love Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre has been a bright spot of Monday Night Raw, along with guys like Gable and Sami Zayn. But I don't think McIntyre needs to beat Damian Priest. I think WWE can have a SummerSlam with Damian Priest and Gunther as your world championship match, and then potentially Cody and Orton, being in that main event spot for the WWE title. Steven's got some comments here. What's your predictions for NXT Battleground this Sunday night? I don't know the full card. I know Ethan Page is wrestling Trick Williams, which I'm excited about. Seeing Ethan Page, really good talent with Ethan Page. I'm assuming Trick is going to retain. Jordan Grace being there, it'd be wild to see if she wins that NXT Women's Championship. I'm excited, to see with this TNA partnership what's going to happen. And, it's interesting that this is going to take place, I believe, in Las Vegas at a UFC venue. So it's going to be really cool to see WWE do this production there, whether there's UFC people, whether there's people from TNA there. It'd be really interesting to see. I mean, it'd be crazy to see Joe Hendry, come out at an NXT event. It really would be, and it would be really fun. As much as I've knocked NXT before in the past, it definitely is getting back to that point of what I remember NXT, being. When Black and Gold, it had, an indie vibe to it, but it also, had the next gen stars kind of vibe. And that's what I'm getting from NXT again. So I might be watching Battleground this weekend when I have time. Waiting for the Creed's heel turn, joining with Gable. That's one thing I forgot to note. Gable was seen backstage talking to the Creed brothers. So I think Otis and the rest of Alpha Academy will turn on Gable, and then potentially on Raw, Gable will try to apologize, and shortly thereafter, the Creed brothers will jump, Otis, Akira Tozawa, and Maxine Dupree, and Alpha Academy will be without Chad Gable, and Gable will have the Creed brothers, and that'll be like your team angle, kind of vibe. Moose in NXT would be awesome as well. I'd love to see Moose in NXT. Um, but a lot of people also from before, if you want to look back at like 2016, man, a lot of people from before wanted Angle when he came back, Kurt Angle, to be with American Alpha to be Team Angle 2.0. What a missed opportunity. Instead of doing that Sun storyline, that would have been a great, team angle right there. Probably would have pushed, Gable and Jordan way further than it did. Steven, along with the whole Gable and Creeds thing, he thinks that the Creeds will help Chad Gable win the Intercontinental Championship. Interesting take. I don't think WWE pulled the trigger on it yet. I think they're going to wait for it. I don't think if Alpha Academy do turn on Chad Gable at the pay-per-view, right? I don't think WWE are going to be as quick to bring the Creeds into this until Monday Night Raw. And I think, Clash at the Castle is another layer to Gable and Zayn's storyline, but it will continue on. And I think they might even have a final match at Money in the Bank where Gable gets the title. And it would be, I believe, is it in Canada? Is it in Toronto? Somebody can fact check for me because I don't have that in my notes, but it might be in Canada. I don't think it's Montreal. I think it's Toronto. But Curbs has got an idea for Punk and McIntyre, so we'll hear it out. Personal idea is for Drew. Personal idea for Drew is Punk costs Drew his match at Clash at the Castle. Then Drew gets a rematch against Priest at Money in the Bank. Jay wins Money in the Bank. Then because of Punk and the cash in, Drew gets another 5-minute reign. Wow. That would be crazy. That would be really crazy if that did happen. I don't know if Drew McIntyre really needs the world title right now. If WWE didn't do the stipulation that the King of the Ring winner, gets to be or gets the title match at SummerSlam, I almost said WrestleMania, at SummerSlam, then they could totally, do Drew and Punk for the world title. But, for me, I think that having Drew and having Damian for the world title at Clash at the Castle is fine. I just don't think Drew really needs to win it. But again, I'm not going to be surprised whether or not Drew McIntyre, does walk out the champion. If he does, it would be a pretty cool moment to see at that pay-per-view or at that PLE. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ideas floating around whether Punk's going to be there or not. It'll be interesting to see that, WWE, the weekly shows have been kind of here and there, but as far as SummerSlam goes, I'm excited. I really am excited. The weekly shows, like I said, sometimes are here or there, but they do slowly build things. Like, look what they're doing with Otis. I think the whole Alpha Academy thing is the best thing on Raw right now, in my opinion. Without Seth and without Punk being there, this has really taken the center spotlight of storyline, especially with, Liv and Dominic Mysterio. That's been another thing that's slowly been building. So, they got a lot of things going that are really going to build to SummerSlam. And I'm curious still to see what happens with Cody's situation for the world title at SummerSlam too. So, anyway, those are your matches for Clash at the Castle so far confirmed. Jey Uso and Lyra Valkyria, they declared for Money in the Bank for the Money in the Bank match at the pay-per-view Money in the Bank. Them declaring entry, I'm assuming that means they're going to be in it, but WWE really haven't gone as far to say that they're in the match yet because I'm wondering if they're going to do qualifiers or not. We'll have to see, how that kind of works. I'm going to assume that there's going to be some kind of qualifiers that are done, but we'll see more when that kind of happens. We still have to get through Clash at the Castle first before we get to Money in the Bank. I believe that is July 8th. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's July 8th. Moving over to some AEW stuff. Adam Copeland, Edge, injured. That injury was hard to watch. I don't know if you guys saw it live or saw it posted online. I watched his match with Malachi, and I thought it was great. I thought they tore the house down, those two guys. But that injury, that was a little rough to watch. I hope he, really recovers, especially for his age and, family wise. I'm not gonna say that it was a dumb spot to do because I've never been in a professional wrestling ring, but you could tell, with the landing that something was off, and he landed on his legs basically. It was ugly to see that. Last night's Dynamite, MJF came back. I believe he will be wrestling Rush at Forbidden Door. I'm not 100% confirmed on that, whether that's taking place or not at Forbidden Door. But we will be getting the AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland defending the title against Will Ospreay, who is the AEW International Champion. Now, I can't lie, when I was doing a lot of podcast stuff, I followed AEW up until about All In. And I liked All In a lot. I thought it was one of AEW's best shows. The, backstage antics that happened at AEW with Punk, whether, you're with the Elite, whatever side you're on, we all can agree it was bad and it wasn't handled correctly. That whole kind of thing took me out of AEW for a while. And I did watch, AEW go up against NXT. I did that with Tony, Tantalizing Tony. And I thought AEW had the better in-ring product, but NXT tried to pull in more people with having Undertaker and John Cena and Cody Rhodes there when AEW just do what they usually do and go out and wrestle. And AEW always has a great product when it comes to, putting on a great show, putting, great matches together. I just feel like AEW sometimes they lack with, storytelling. And I love getting invested in, stories. We got Fresh Take in the chat. Fresh Take, Jakey Bakey, my man Graves. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. We talked a little bit at the beginning of the show about the whole name change and everything, but I won't get mad at anyone if anyone calls me Graves because that was the OG gimmick. That was the OG gimmick. Hollow Nova, my man Miles. What's going on, man? Champagne Supernova, Oasis. I don't care what anyone says. I love Oasis. Love me some Oasis. Yeah, going back to AEW, that's kind of been a little bit of my gripe with it. But one of the bright spots to me that they have done has been with Swerve Strickland and Will Ospreay. I'm not that sold on doing this match at Forbidden Door, though. And I'll give you my reason why. Will Ospreay is the international champion right now. Being that you're putting two faces against each other, somebody is going to get booed at the end of the day. Now, these are the two biggest baby faces, in my opinion, of AEW. I know MJF just came back, but these are the two guys that have really built up, in AEW, while MJF has been away. I would have loved to seen this match at All In for the AEW championship, the world championship, not the international, for the world championship. My assumption is going to some things. That Ospreay is going to get screwed over by Don Callis. Potentially, Swerve Strickland turns heel, which I think is a mistake. And, along with Swerve turning heel or just retaining him facing MJF at All In. I don't know what the recovery time is for Adam Cole because MJF and Adam Cole would be a great, rematch to have at All In a year after it took place. Um, Nobody really knows what's going to happen with Adam Cole yet or not. Um, you know, I think Forbidden Door is still going to be a successful show for AEW. One second, I just lost my voice out of nowhere. God, I just lost my voice. I'm sure people listening to the podcast and post are gonna love that. Sorry, but no. To me, doing this match on Forbidden Door is still gonna be a great show in my opinion. But I really was hoping that AEW were gonna capitalize on the fact that these are the two biggest baby faces that they have, and putting them at your biggest show of the year, I think would have been a great way to kickstart, something big, a new era in AEW. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of the elite stuff right now either. Um, that's not to say it's bad though. I'm not too crazy sold on that. I'm assuming that's gonna lead to a War Games match, which I think would be cool too. I think it'd be very cool to see them pull out a War Games type style match in AEW like they've done with the Blood and Guts concept, and do a Team AEW versus a Team Elite match there. They have had some people let go of AEW. One of them was Ethan Page, who debunked contract rumors that he wasn't staying with AEW and he trolled everyone, and then he ended up at NXT. Arn Anderson, no longer with AEW, and it's being reported that Jake Hager is no longer with AEW. Fresh Take says AEW has been fire lately. I think AEW, they're trying to get back in that high gear, and I want to see them get back in that high gear. I want to see them be successful. From the stuff I watched on Dynamite, I liked. I didn't watch the whole show, but I liked a lot of what they did. I just think that when it comes to telling stories, they kind of need to do a little bit better in that department. But Swerve's promo last night, he covered a lot of bases. He talked about Ospreay, talked about MJF, and he talked about the Elite. So potential future matches in the making. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fans of Jericho right now with the Learning Tree, which I really haven't watched too many of the segments, so I can't really comment on whether it's good, bad, or not. I'm assuming Jericho was winding down, but we'll see what kind of happens with that. Fresh Take says top 4 wrestlers arguably are signed to this promotion. You got Ospreay, you got Swerve, you got MJF, and you have Danielson. I'm assuming that's the 4 you're talking about, but they could also be very interchangeable. AEW is a great roster. When they get Adam Cole and they get Kenny back, that roster is going to be tremendous. I do expect some people to be cut though, because that main event scene is stacked and they're going to have to shuffle some people around. So, they're going to have to make some moves wisely with, what they kind of do in their next steps. So we're going to see what kind of happens with that in the coming future when it comes to AEW. And, after Forbidden Door, all eyes are on All In, and All In's going to be a big show for them. It's going to be, Wembley Stadium again, selling out 70,000 seats. It's a big accomplishment, nonetheless, whether you're a fan of the product or not. AEW still having that, having those fans there for that show, it's a big deal. It's a big deal for AEW to run these big venues and get the response that they have. I know there's a lot of people that want to make fun of them for having empty seating, and I will say some of their television shows, they don't have a full arena. But their PLEs, their pay-per-views, they do really well. They sell out. People want to go see an AEW pay-per-view because AEW pay-per-views are really good. They produce really good matches. AEW does not have a match quality problem. They just sometimes kind of lack in storytelling. So that's, I think a big common reasonable gripe, a reasonable criticism that people have. I know there's people that want to see AEW go to business, and that's just wrong. It's just really wrong. AEW does not need to go out of business. AEW does not need to go out of business for your tribalism. Just doesn't need to happen. WWE has gotten better from AEW. I hope AEW stays around. I just hope that AEW can work on, their storytelling, can work on certain things that they can do better to make them a better product. So that's kind of my main thing when it comes to talking about All Elite Wrestling. So that pretty much covered a lot of news that I wanted to talk about today. I am going to look and see if there's anything that just broke at all. But I will say to everyone that's here tonight, that everyone that came in tonight, I appreciate you guys coming in. Thanks for hitting the like button as well, guys. We got 9 people in the chat. Feel free to, I'm planning for some podcast episodes to be hot takes episodes too. So I got some things planned that I want to do with this to not just make it about news and just me talking the whole time. You already see I'm losing my voice, so I haven't done this in a while. But we're going to, like I said in the beginning of this program, we're going to have guests on. We're going to have some fun episodes. And you should be able to, in the near future, be able to listen to this on Spotify. That's my goal, is to put this on podcast platforms to be able to, show that on there as well. Some breaking stuff right now. This is speculation. Wrestle Talk, Ringside News. Roman Reigns has been removed from advertisements from upcoming events. There was reports earlier in the week about Roman Reigns being at some of the final SmackDowns before SummerSlam, being advertised for that. I'm not sure what events it is. I'm going to check it out right now and do a quick scoop here. This is from Wrestle Talk. And it just was posted. Roman Reigns was listed as set to appear at the SmackDown taping on August 2nd, the last episode before SummerSlam the following night. Reigns has now been removed from advertisements from that night's SmackDown. Interesting. Very interesting. If you, have, let me put up Curb's comment here. Even if you aren't a fan of AEW, competition makes everyone better. I agree. Having it'd be like, you love Dairy Queen, right? But Dairy Queen decides to buy out all the other ice cream shops. So now all you can do is go to Dairy Queen. It gets old. That's what happened with WWE. If, Disney World did not have Universal Studios in Florida, and it just was them as the only theme park there, it would hurt. It would hurt their business. So AEW has issues, but that does not mean we want them to go out of business. We want them to work on it. There's other people in the community. I know a lot of people give heat to Eric Bischoff. From what I've watched and, read on him, he is somebody that just wants AEW to succeed. And I agree with a lot of his takes, but I don't think he's someone that wants to see them, fall or fail, because he's been in that same situation before too. I think there is people that do benefit off of the demise of AEW, but I think there are people in the community that give good feedback and criticism to AEW, and sometimes they're kind of looked at as they're just haters, and that's not everyone is a hater of your product. You just want to see it get better. It's the same thing with WWE. Sometimes WWE do the same thing. Steven Chambers, my opinion, too early for Swerve versus Ospreay for Forbidden Door. Rather have that match at All In. I completely agree with you. That is a big match that I think should headline All In. But, I don't know, maybe they want to, have NJPW kind of represent Osprey because he was just there. AEW scooped up a lot of New Japan talent. So, I don't know. It is a great match. It's going to be a great one. I'm excited to see it, but I kind of wanted to see it at Wembley in front of 70,000 people. What's going on, Sebastian? I see Bass in the Discord. We were just talking a little bit about AEW. I want to kind of get back to this Roman Reigns thing. I wonder if there's a way I can show this to you guys. We're gonna do this live here using OBS and see if I can pull it up. Yeah, there it is. Wow, and it's great too. Let me know you guys can see this. Hopefully, okay. But this is from Wrestle Talk. Hopefully, no ads really show up. But yeah, Roman Reigns set to appear on the August 2nd, the last episode of SmackDown. Let me move this over a little bit here so you can see it. And now that apparently is not going to be the case. He's been removed from these advertisements. So if you're expecting Roman Reigns or thinking fantasy booking for Roman Reigns to be at this show, I think you're going to be disappointed. So if you missed any content that I've done, I did upload a video on, how The Rock could return to the WWE. And in that instance, I said that Roman Reigns returns at WrestleMania 41 to confront The Rock. You can watch the whole video to see how I kind of broke it down. There's also shorts on my Instagram, YouTube, wherever you can find my page at. I've posted that, and a lot of people gave their opinion on it. I don't know if Roman returns at SummerSlam. I don't know if it's something I want to see at SummerSlam or if I would rather wait to see down the road. It's definitely going to be something interesting, though, when he does come back because, like I said earlier in the program, Roman Reigns being a babyface is certainly interesting. And to see him, with Heyman go against the rival bloodline, whether it's Solo or The Rock, is going to be great to see. But I think WWE, they just had Roman Reigns hold that title for so long. I don't think they're going to rush to have him back. He's going to do his movies. He's going to do his side projects. And then he's going to come back, and it's going to be explosive. And it's going to be great to see. I don't mind waiting a year. I really don't. WWE certainly have the roster right now to go a year without Roman Reigns. They've really built WWE back up into, being this great company with great storylines. I can't really complain too much with WWE other than, like smaller aspects of it. But if you watch weekly, it's not like embarrassing where like you show your friend and, there's like dog food. Like Roman Reigns is eating dog food or Baron Corbin's eating dog food and a battle royal for pizza. All that's gone. All that's gone. So we don't got to worry about that anymore, thankfully. And with that, I mean, I don't know if I really want to go into anything else. I will double check to see if we got anything else here before we step out for tonight. We talked about Dijak. We talked about Roman Reigns. Braun Breaker creative plans. Excuse me. Braun Breaker creative plans at WWE have been altered. Vince McMahon not allowed inside WWE headquarters, according to former WWE. All speculation right now. As far as speculation goes, WWE confirmed releases 2024 Stanley Cup Championship title belts. So if you're big into hockey, you can buy a Stanley Cup championship. Although the golden egg, yes, the golden egg will be the greatest thing in pro wrestling ever. I should do a video on that. What happened to the golden egg? You gotta love it. You gotta love the golden egg. Listen, everyone, I want to thank everyone that tuned in today to the first episode of this podcast episode. I appreciate all you guys in the chat, Curb, Steven, Nova, everyone that came in tonight and said hello and wanted to check this out. Even if you're just somebody for the first time coming in here, like I said, goal is going to be to upload these to Spotify and Apple Music, wherever you get podcasts eventually, and kind of spread this around. We might try to, have this be simulcast to YouTube and TikTok. Well, we'll see. We're gonna experiment with some things later on in the future, but I really do appreciate everyone here. If you don't mind, hit the like button. If you're new, you can subscribe today, and super chats are also open. Members, if you want to become a member, eventually, I think I am gonna do some member only streams or something like that. Do some special stuff once we get some members going. So this is going to be really the setup for I guess for the coming future, with videos, shorts following up with it. So I had a fun time though. I had a fun time. I was a little nervous coming live, to be truthful, because I haven't done this in a while. Um, it's definitely weird. It's definitely a little weird for me because, like I said, last December was the last time I did something. In that time, I've not even been on the radio. I've been doing a lot of production work and a lot of production stuff. But this has always been a fun thing for me to do. Talk about wrestling with all you guys and do it in a positive manner, a friendly manner. Although I did have to ban someone earlier, even before I started streaming. So, but regardless. Um, Thank you, Curbs, as well. Love to see you back in the podcasting game, Mr. Graves. Yeah, yeah, for sure, my man. Curbs also does a lot of great music too. We got to promote that one of these streams. I'll make a side note here, and we'll play some Curbs music. Maybe it'll be the outro or something to the podcast. So, but like I said, everyone, thanks for watching the Anthony Linetti Show right here on YouTube. And if you're not already following me on social media, you got Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. These are the three. And now, getting back into podcasting, I will update you all on when I will have more podcast stuff coming soon in the near future. I don't actually have an outro queued up, which I think I need to get an outro for the show eventually. But we'll go back to the original open here. Let me see if I can queue it up without messing anything up. I don't know how I'm gonna do this though, because this is all through OBS now, by the way. So, let's see here. We'll mute that. Should have did that. Okay. And I think if I go, sorry guys, you're seeing this. There we go. All right. So we'll cue that outro as our outro. So thank you everyone for coming out tonight. And I hope to see you all very soon again on the channel. And this has been the first episode of the Scoop Slam podcast. I hope to see you all very soon. And everyone, have a great night. I hope to talk to you very soon. Let's cue the intro up.